Hey, DMDongo here with another review from the DM's Guild. This time we're going to be looking at JVC Perry's Call from the Deep. It's currently on sale for $39.99. If you were looking for that illithid pirate seafaring adventure of your dreams, you have some weird dreams, but I have the adventure for you. Call from the Deep by JVC Perry. It's an amazing campaign. It's set up and down the Sword Coast when a mysterious craft runs aground outside an island on the Sea of Swords. Designed for a party of adventurers starting at level 1, advancing all the way up to 10th level, and perhaps beyond. Your adventuring party will be tasked with discovering what this craft is, and why so many fishermen have gone missing, and why on Earth they might be missing some very important internal organs. The campaign is split up into 5 chapters, and each slowly peels back the layers of mystery that need to be experienced to get their full effects. Chapter 1 sets up the world and introduces the start of the strange goings-on, tasked with merely checking out this strange craft and that has seemingly run aground on the island of Gundralan. While en route, pirates and other terrible creatures will roam the waters with a taste for blood, meaning there is never a dull moment. From there, the party must explore the craft, determine its origins, and begin to understand some of what might be going on beneath the waves, and potentially deal with the Sahuagin threat that they seem to be causing most of the trouble. Chapter 2 leads the party back to the Sword Coast, to one of 3 possible locations. It reminds me a lot of the branching paths in Storm King's Thunder, with the 3 villages to visit. And it isn't much of a spoiler to say that things don't stay peaceful in the cities of either Neverwinter, Baldur's Gate, or Waterdeep. Where it differs from Storm King's Thunder is, it's the player's choice as to which of the 3 locations they go and visit. It's not so much that a DM chooses either Golden Fields or Triboar, it's more that the party sees a map and decides which one to go visit, which one to potentially intercept. All of the 3 cities are peppered and fully fleshed out with side quests and NPCs for your players to gorge themselves on. It's a wonderful experience. By chapter 3, your party should have some idea of what is going on as they begin to piece together the underlying mystery, or so they think. The chapter details the other areas your party players may explore, and gives us more free-form method of kind of wandering around. Your players have a few options to go through, but eventually they should discover the next clue in an ever-deepening mystery. It's a really nice point where your players can decide if they're having a lot of fun doing all the exploring up and down the Sword Coast, doing all these little side quests, or if you want to hurry the adventure along and move on to Chapter 4. And Chapter 4 is what I would call the pirate or cultist chapter. Either way, there are some really amazing encounter designs with unique and interesting NPCs that your party will run into and have to deal with. My favorite, though, does have to be the green slod who decided not to bother getting his control gem back. Finally, we move on to Chapter 5. The real villain is finally revealed, and an epic dungeon crawl is your player's reward, as they try to find and fight their way through traps, enemies, and puzzles that will surely challenge your players in the best of possible ways. In addition to the main content, you have 5 appendices, the first of which is for the random encounters, presented in a perfectly formatted table. The second contains all the unique and interesting creatures and NPCs your players are going to run into. And there are a lot of them. The Brain Golem, though, has to be one of my personal favorites. Appendix C is full of magical items your players can expect to find, and Appendix D has all the ships and crews that your parties like to encounter on their journey on the waves, along with how to run them both in and out of combat. This also includes table for random ship names should you ever need them, and any statistics you might require, along with examples of various crews. And along with these are maps for the ships of every possible size should your players decide a boarding action is necessary. Then we get to Appendix E, which is the one practically made for me. And there are handouts in this. Tons of them. Secret letters, odd drawings, everything for those players that really want something to hold. If that wasn't enough, Appendix F contains 4 new races that your players can use: Merfolk, Sahuagin, Seaspawn, and Eldani. In addition to those, though, you also get a few feats that are specifically focused on the naval side of this campaign. Things like Cannoneer, which makes you a bit better with siege weapons, the cannon being one of them, reducing the aim time to a bonus action and allowing you to repair these weapons on the go. As you can probably tell, this adventure is heavily naval-based with large chunks taking place at sea, so DMs need to take note, have a good understanding of how naval combat works, and perhaps the drowning rules. You're probably going to need them. Now, what did I like about this? So much. There's a fantastic plethora of things to like. First of which, the art is gorgeous throughout. Custom characters are wonderful, and having them split out means that I can create handouts for Roll20 in moments like this one. Not only is the art gorgeous though, there is a ton of it, all themed beautifully, all wonderful and creepy, and just a great bounty of loveliness to behold, and breaks up the monotony of reading walls of text perfectly. The maps are also really interesting. I actually like the Dyson logo style. It is something to behold, and I really love the way that he does things. It makes it easy to read and easy to place miniatures on. Or potentially maybe you've got some Dwarven Forge, but you don't have enough of it to kind of complete a whole thing, but you can pepper it throughout to kind of give that good understanding. Now, speaking of walls of text, there is so much information here and so much to do for players, but you don't have to. Every area feels alive and lived in, but there is no need to use everything, which makes a nice change. There's no single NPC that can scupper a campaign or stick something. You don't need a piece of information from a specific point in time. There's lots of places you could potentially get it. It also has a healthy amount of side quests that are both interesting and engaging, all up and down the sword coast, and can send your party all over the place. But it doesn't suffer from the problem that the Tomb of Annihilation adventure does, where Chult, the jungles, are really interesting. There's ruins to explore and to find, but at the same time, there's no way for your party to do that because of this ever-present ticking time bomb of the death curse. It's a better way of doing things, a mystery and a danger looming, but not closing in. I have to say as well, combat and some of the encounter design is of the next level. Nothing has been neglected, and the environment is often a real threat or a bigger threat than some of the creatures you're fighting, which is perfect. They aren't left up, and the creatures themselves aren't left up to the DM to decide when they should or shouldn't flee. Care and thought have been taken into consideration on how certain creatures should behave and what they do based on the character's actions and decisions throughout an area or potentially the overall campaign. Speaking of the NPCs, the characterization is wonderful, and you can easily understand the motivations to play all of them to the best of your DM ability. I found it so easy, it was a breeze to think of what my voice might go with each NPC, even though all the pirates ended up sounding like Captain Barbados. There is one character I really like that all the time was spent on, and that's the area itself. So much time and detail went into the rumors and details and lore of the area. It is such a nice thing to have to leave peppered throughout your campaign to hopefully cause that aha moment in at least one player. Now finally, the handouts. The attention to detail is amazing, to the point where I had no desire for anything additional, and was happy to leave them as they are. I mean, it includes a font in the digital edition. If that's not going to above and beyond, I don't know what is. Now, what didn't I like about this? Now, there isn't much of it didn't like, but more something to be aware of. First, it takes place in the sea, so be aware that the party is going to be spending a long time on a boat together and spend a lot of time exploring the area. And how that plays out and what they do. There are a lot of great role-playing opportunities you can take on starry nights at sea. Potentially after a traumatic encounter, maybe you lose a party member. And try to elicit that role-playing on a ship. They're alone, they're out on the sea, they might be going somewhere, but they're effectively on their own, and being alone at sea is slightly different than being on a starry night in a campground. There's a isolationist feeling that you need to kind of convey in some way. Now, the other thing is that the maps, and they're one of those Marmite things, those love it or hate it kind of stuff. I like the Dyson Logos maps. I think they provide a clean aesthetic, though I usually prefer full color. These have grown on me over the years, but it's just something to be aware of. Right, my final thoughts and my rating. So I'm just going to come out and say it. This is easily as good, or if not better, than a lot of the official Wizards of the Coast stuff. And it's just so, the amount of time and attention to detail and dedication that this must have taken. boggles the mind, and it is easily worth its price point. I do not doubt that you will find a year, perhaps more, of enjoyment out of this module, so I happily give it a 5 out of 5, and you can pick it up from the DM's Guild by using my affiliate code, which is down below. Thank you. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.